Hello there. Today we're going to be doing something slightly different, though whilst still in the lovely sand-scorched lands of the Aserai, we're actually going to be using My Little Warband to craft ourselves a very accurate set of troops for this land. Of course, we're going to start with the normal recruit. Could start with the elite recruits because they're the ones that are actually going to be riding the most iconic animal ever to man, which is the camel. Well, I don't know. I always just do the normal troops first, you know. Got to start from the weak all the way up to the strong. So I still want to play with camels. Obviously, there's the little camel quest resurgence was a bit of a joke, but I do want to do something with camels. And having our own troop tree of camel riders sounds great, although they're not all going to be riding camels, obviously, because that would be too powerful. Now, they have changed this lovely mod a little bit, actually, because now you get a much more manageable menu that looks at exactly how, you know, you can actually see multiple options. You can see all the details. It's nice. You know what? A nice cap is good. But what do we want with a set of units? Camel soldier. Obviously the names are entirely placeholder. Camel soldier recruit. Terrible name, but gotta start somewhere, right? I like a little wrap cap. It's nice. What do we got here? They will be using one-handed and polearm, I would say. A little bit of walking. 5 riding, why not? Although I have a little bit of skills here and there, mostly for tournament usage. Now, whenever I look at these troops, when I make my units in My Little Warband, is up here. Because you can disable skill gear restrictions, skill total restrictions, and cap. But I'd never go above the cap, not unless it's, you know, the final units of the nobleman troops, because they can go as wild as you want. But yeah, these early level ones should never do that. Though these are, by default, I believe, usually weaker than normal recruits because they have all the random stats I'm not going to use put in here, but you know, that's how it is. Yeah, we only really want to look at the low tier stuff going on in here. And obviously the base game has all these units equipping all manner of garbage. Alright. We may want weapon types. One-handed weapon first, so we know what we're doing. Anyway, do you know what? Actually, we don't want tier 2 in here. We just want 0 and 1. We want the crap, because this is a crap unit. And it's a recruit. Could just give him a sickle. It's honestly not terrible, and it's pretty funny. So honestly, let's start with the sickle. And we'll do a shield, because there are actually, you know, getting rid of the stone option here. We want these all to be empty. No stone throwing for our guys. But yeah, you know, there are some factions that have some really good starting units, including the shields, or with pole arms even, which is really rather powerful. We don't need something that's very powerful. We just want some simple farmers with shields. Probably going for a bit of a mercenary feel because I kind of always go with that. It's just sort of what I default to, and I don't think we really need to change much with the... I like the commoner tunic. Let's change this out. See if there's a more Aserai looking thing. Villager short dress, not quite. Thick villager dress. Actually, you know what? Why don't we, instead of having all cultures, do the Aserai? Now later in the tier lists, it's probably best to get rid of that restriction because otherwise you won't have too many options. But other than that, alright, luxury kaftan. That's probably good for the first nobles, even if it's a bad piece of armor. Southern hide skirt. Actually, that sounds really fun. That's terrible, which is totally fair. And that means we can give them some gloves. Probably? That's not a lot of options. Maybe not then. How about shoes? There's always some fun options with shoes and boots. in that there isn't really fun options. There's so few options in each of the tiers. That's not even high tier boot, I don't think, without mods. Yes, but we want our camel troops to really work together with the main force of the army, which is going to be camel riders, you know, Camelphracts, basically. And camels are very big, which means that the camel riders need big weapons, and camels are also very slow compared to horses. So they really need to have big, long weapons that don't necessarily rely on speed, which means we're not going to be doing the typical knights, you know. They're going to be having glaives because they are long and powerful and hopefully make up for the fact that they are so far away from everybody and don't ride too fast. They're going to be big, beefy, tanky guys, and hopefully archers aren't going to kill them all. Right. So sometimes it gets a little bit boring to, you know, just grab the next tier of guy. I mean, this guy is an upgrade of our previous guy, which is fine. But we can also just copy a template from, I don't know. What's the... Oh, look, this is the Aserai recruit. Look at the skills on this guy. It's way better than our previous one. Maybe we should just copy... No, we're not going to copy the template, mostly because we're going to lose all the armor then. But look, we're going to get rid of the restrictions on the total skills. And we're just going to make sure that his 2 primary skills here is the same level as the Aserai recruit. We don't want him to be garbage now, do we? Now this guy, we can copy this guy from the Aserai... Aserai what? Tribesman? Yeah. That's already pretty damn good. I'm not sure we really need to change this because polearm and one-handed is what we want. And they also have a shield. So they remain pretty similar. We're not going to have them diverge from the recruit level though. Not yet. This will be the guy it diverges from. A jagged spear? Honestly, that's probably fine. We don't want a wooden hammer though. That's just awful. Wooden hammer is embarrassing. There's just no way we would do that. Right. So we probably want tier 2 weapons now, and we don't want cultural restriction on our weapons here. And suddenly we have a lot more options. Now, what do we want these guys to have? Can't really take something with too much damage to start with. Although we can take a nice bamboo-handled... You know what? It's an Aserai weapon. Why not? Bamboo-handled one-handed axe. They have a shield. I think we're just going to change it to a different shield because, well... We don't want it to be exactly the same as the Aserai troops. Now, do we? We want it to be a little bit different. No, I'm just going to go the light cavalry shield. Small. It does its job. These guys have both got the wrap cap? Yeah. You know what? I'm fine with that. Shawl, though. Maybe that's not what we want. Maybe we want something else than a shawl. I only see higher tier things in here. I thought they all look kind of good. That might be a little bit too good for us currently. Let's do tier 0 and 1. We don't really want to make the starting troops too powerful. Leopard pelt maybe, but you know what? I have a real weakness for these hoods here. All these heavy cloaks. You know what? I love these cloaks. Let's do those. Looks good. And they have a tier 3 piece of armor. Huh. 16, 6, and 8. That's so much better than that. I feel like that's a little bit too much. So let's see. But I suppose that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I feel like it's a bit much. I prefer it when my units are not immediately too powerful. Short-padded robe. It's a little bit less good. Buttons, leather braces, fine. And it's got some rough-tied ones in there as well. Leather, do you want boots? There's just not many options here, so that's also fine. This all looks rather reasonable. Yeah, I'd say so. So this is Camel Soldier. And now we want it to split in 2. Because we are going to need 2 types of units to help our Camelphracts. We want units that can take care of other cavalry, because the enemy cavalry doesn't charge our cavalry, it charges the unit line. So what we want is the normal, sturdy infantry that can defend themselves against that sort of thing. And either we give them throwing weapons or we give them crossbows. You know, just with one load of bolts. But otherwise focused mainly on being melee. On the other hand, I kind of wanted some Berserker-like troops. A bit like the ones that the Aserai already have, but then, you know, a little bit better. I suppose they would have throwing weapons as well. Just a couple of javelins, you know, they quickly get thrown before the enemy gets there to weaken them up, and then they go in. Ham-like. But with shields, so they aren't stupid and dead before the enemy gets there. Now, we don't actually have to copy this, I don't think. No. This is the sturdy one. Let's call him Sturdy Soldier. Just to stop myself from confusing myself, and we'll call these guys the Berserking Soldier. Wait. Capitalization! Mostly just so I remember what I'm doing. Now, the Sturdy Soldier should obviously have some one-handed. We'll go up to 80. We don't really want to get that close to the camp. We don't want to be entirely overpowering. Alright, the Sturdy Soldier actually... do we want crossbow? Or do we just want, you know, spearmanship? Spearmanship? Polearm skill. That's the thing, isn't it? I'm not sure. We'll give them crossbow skill in case that's what we want. I'm not entirely sure. Not making them too fast yet. And these guys will be the basic upgrade from the Camel Soldier, really. That has the same sort of skills primarily. We'll see if we want to do some crossbow stuff later. But spears and one-handed. And we'll do tier 3. Look at the shields first. Actually, what's this one? 205 hit points. And we want something that's not too much better, really, because there's a limit to how powerful these things get. 370 seems fine, and the shield doesn't look like it's going to make my eyes bleed, so let's do that one. And now let's look at the spears. I forgot to look at how good this one is. 29 thrust damage, alright. I usually just base it on damage because otherwise it's too confusing to look at too many different ones. So early level wide leaf spear, we could do that. It's very long. Actually, I think it's a good thing, and it doesn't have too much more damage. You know what? We'll do that. Very long. 58 swing damage on this one. On this little axe here. That is nice. And let's find one that has a little bit more. Could even do like a Morning Star, which is very short length, but that kind of makes sense, you know, when the enemy is... Actually, no, that's not going to be very good against the enemy cavalry, because you still need to be able to hit up on the horse. We do want it to be short, but not that short. Gold-bound short war sword sounds cool, but it's a bit too gold, isn't it? It's a bit too gold. Could do an axe, commoner axe. Seems pretty good, but I don't know if we're actually going to keep going with axes, so maybe it'd be good to do this one. Iron Shotel, which is an actual Aserai sword. It's got quite some length. It can thrust for no damage. That's a bit sad, but let's give it a go. The thing with these troops is you can always change them if you accidentally give your troops something that's absolutely terrible. Now, obviously, we need to upgrade their stuff, and we also need to upgrade this armor here. Now, do we have a cap of sorts for Aserai make that we could give them? Southern fluted steel helmet over brabada. That is something. Or we can give them a spiked closed turban. Or some of these things. How about this one? This one looks cool. It's a skull cap, and it actually just looks like an upgrade to our previous piece of armor. That's nice. Now, the heavy cloak is terrible, so anything is an upgrade, really. But what do we want the upgrade to be? We don't want it to be that good, do we? I mean, there's plenty of upgrades here that are very good that we really don't have to deal with right now. Don't want the best of the best in these lower level guys. Yeah, I think the numbers down here are a little bit too high. So honestly, this reinforced legionary studded harness is not that good. Really. I mean, it's a little bit better than these other options, but I just kind of like the look of it better. Alright. This one. Now it should be easy to get something that's a little bit more powerful. This cuff gun seems reasonable. Actually, that does not mesh with the shoulder pieces at all. Never mind. We kind of want something that meshes with it, don't we? Kind of makes it look good. Okay, how about this one? This one will work. That kind of looks like it fits. And an armor that's more than 4. Ah, yes. Here we are. Look, all the armors that are higher than tier nothing are suddenly amazing. I always find that a bit odd. Tier 2. Let's try tier 2. That has stuff that's better, but not impressively insane. There we go. Look, it's actually slightly lower armored things. Leather van braces works fine for this guy, I think. More than 6 armor. Yeah, not too many options here. Southern boots with leather greaves. And it's Aserai. You know what? Take it. We'll take it. And suddenly we have our sturdy soldier guy. I'll give him a bit more in random skills because, I don't know, random skills. Now let's check out our Berserking soldier. Now we do have to question ourselves, do we want them to be two-handed weapon experts or polearm? Thing is, we've already got 2 units that are going to be using polearm. You know, the nobles we haven't looked at yet, and the sturdy troops. So I think we all know these guys are going to have to be two-handed weapon users, and we're going to take these guys to the cap because berserking units are actually awful. I feel. Well, they're not awful, but you have to micromanage them, and with how they've changed unit grouping, getting them into their own group is not possible. So they are prone to just being worthless, wasted, and dead. Actually, we may be just wanting to make these guys use the crossbows instead. Which is kind of just so we actually, you know, if we don't get any archer units, these are the archers, and we can just tell them to hold their fire and then go in and charge. That is a thinking thing. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do there, so I'm going to give these guys both crossbow and throwing, just in case. I mean, I don't know yet. And a bit of that. Obviously, in the end, they will also have some really good armor. But the fact that they're not going to have a shield is really going to offset all that armor. At least, I think they're not going to have a shield. Yeah, you know, just running around with a two-handed weapon is, you know, pretty dangerous after all, so... First, we're just going to select 0, none with all this. And, well, main weapon, two-handed weapon. Let's see what we can actually find at this level, if anything at all. Darshi Noble two-handed mace. Do you know what? I like it. This is going to actually probably really good. 70 blunt with... Actually, it's terrible speed, so maybe not. Which is fine. It's powerful. It's going to hurt a lot, but it's very slow for this level troop, which I think is absolutely fine. I think that's reasonable. Helmet. Now, obviously, we don't want the same helmet as the other guys, even though we probably kind of do. But... how does this look? I mean, maybe this is better, because, you know, they are more assassin-like, the Berserkers of the Aserai, I imagine. That's a sort of a feel from them that I get. So I think that's fine, actually. Now let's go a bit deeper in here, skip a bit, maybe go from the bottom up, and see some southern leather coat. Yeah, I think laminar is not really what we're looking for right now. Let's try, how does this coat look? Okay, this coat looks awful. We're not doing that. Don't know if the texture's not loading properly or whatever. Oh, we're not doing it. Heavy ring mail. How about that? I do like this ring mail. Let's do that. And we're going to clear the tier for the gloves and the boots because, yeah, otherwise it's going to be too annoying to look at. Okay, what are we going to do with the gloves and the boots? We're not going to go absolutely crazy, but we're not going to be doing nothing either. I do want this to be where they start being decent. Decent-ish? Wait, Khan's plated braces of Valandia? That is definitely not right. Khan's? That should be Kuzite. Okay, never mind. Whatever. Let's not think about that. Southern blackened leather braces, 9. Could do, but it's not very good, is it? Kind of looking for something with 15-ish armor around here that's good. Mail gauntlets, you know what? A bit better than I was looking for, but kind of fits with the chest piece, and not so much. You know what? I don't really mind. We're not going to be looking at the hands and feet too much. Mailed boots with leather greaves. No, that's a bit too powerful. Bit too powerful for my taste. We'll find something a bit less powerful than that. Should be multiple mail options in here. And I'm not talking about manness. Yeah, mailed chalices. They're all a bit too good. Mailed shoes, 20. I mean, there's not really too many places to go from 20, is there? Too many improvements, I mean. So maybe we should just do something like these boots. Eastern tassel boots with studded leather. Yeah. Too bad we can't really see, but that seems reasonable. And for now, we are going to give them a throwing weapon. Because, well, we do want them to have a throwing weapon. Now, what tier do we want? We don't want it to be too good. I think a throwing weapon is fine. I think a tier 3... I mean, a tier 3 light weapon is fine. And the Aserai don't seem to have any javelins. So what are we going to do? I think these harpoons also. I don't know. Tier 3. It's the right amount. We're just going to give them one amount of harpoon because it slows them down a lot. We just want them to throw them and then be done with them. And that's it. Don't think we're going to give them a shield. And I don't think we're going to give them crossbows yet, but we may still do that. I'm not sure. Alright, well, obviously the Berserker Soldier and the Sturdy Soldier need upgrades, but honestly, this video is already going on. So what I want to do now is I'll finish these off later. I mean, I like where they're going. They are distinct with different skills despite similarities. But now we're going to look at some noble troops because Camels. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy the Imperial Vigla recruits. Mostly because they are powerful recruits and they have semi-similar things that they are going to do to our recruits. In that they have a spear, one-handed shield. Wouldn't it be interesting with two-handed shield? Anyway, and a one-handed sword. See, skill level cap 50, but they have 60 one-handed, which is really good for an elite guy. Now, these guys don't actually have mounts, so we're going to put the skill of one-handed down, and I'm going to put bow down. I'm going to give them more walkie power and a slight more riding. Now, we're actually going to start them off with a mount, because that's what we want to do. We want to start them off with a camel, because you might feel like, oh my god, that's way too powerful, you don't even need to, you know, buy camels to get these guys going. But, you know, they're more expensive already, and war camels is actually a war mount, and that's kind of the next step in camel mounts. So we could start with the camel, honestly, war camel, if we wanted to skip the camel. But I don't want to skip the camel. A normal camel's fine. Camelphracts recruit. I don't know if that's how you spell Camelphracts. If it isn't, it'll get fixed. And you know, these are the simple ones, so what they're going to get is the simple camel harness. Camel saddle. And yes, I see there is a nice one over here, but there's actually quite a few beautiful dromedary harnesses, including... Where are they? See, there's 135. I know there's more. Alright, I can't see them because of the level restrictions. We'll see them in a second, and I forgot to pick something. There we go. Alright, we don't put any restrictions on what armor can show up. A lot of stuff shows up. How does this looted helmet look? Oh, that actually looks gorgeous. Now, it's a little bit too powerful, I'd say, but these are noble recruits. So I suppose they can have a helmet on just so they don't get, get their heads blown off. I think that's fine. It's reasonable not to want to have that happen. I'm usually alright with some of these noble recruits to have some armor that's a little bit better. We can always take it out of the chest armor here. Give them some subpar chest armor so that they can have the other armor pieces on and still look a bit fanciful. So we're going to look for one here that is not great. Doesn't have to be terrible. We just want it to look nice. Like, actually, I know what we were looking for. Let's see if we can make it show up here. It was the Kaftan, I believe, or was this not tier 2? Yeah, I don't see it. Alright, let's try more tiers. They are. Ah, here's a luxury Kaftan. Was this it? No, this was not the one I wanted. I wanted the shiny one. I want the shiny one. Luxury Kaftan. Here we go. This is what I want. Entirely inappropriate for battle. Looks a bit silly, actually. Yeah. Would you look at that? Guarded, southern blackened, southern leather. You know what? Oh. These look terrible. Right. Get rid of the culture restriction. Let's see. What do we want to do? We just want something that's terrible and noble looking. Yeah. Okay, studded vambraces is probably alright, honestly. Padded vambraces. Now they're studded. Okay. I wonder if all these gloves are actually gonna clip through. They're all clipping through. We need to get a different chest piece. That clipping is just driving me nuts. Alright, how about the toga from the Empire? It's not Aserai, I know, but it still looks fine. Finaried, and I believe it will let us just... Yeah, I guess. Maybe we'll come back to this, but we'll keep the boots. We'll keep this. Simple short spear, I think, is fine, but it is tier 0. Interesting. You know what? If the game thinks that these are alright for the Imperial Noble Troop, they're alright for me. Although the Iron Spatha is not what we want. We actually need a weapon with some length to it, because if you're on top of a camel, you need a long-ass weapon to hit anything, even if it's a one-handed weapon. Which means they can't have maces, which I'm actually annoyed about. I like maces. Western Noble Battle Axe, really? That's long. I kind of like the look of that. Let's do that. Alright, so Camelphracts tier 1. Cool, let's get the next one in here. Oh, look at that, they're riding the camels. It's a beast mode thing. And this guy's going to be even shorter. That's awful, actually. We want these guys to be Aserai. And actually, do we want these to be male? We don't have any female troops, and we could have these be... Okay, how does this guy look as a female? Yeah, no, okay. We're not gonna... No, do you know what? I prefer the mustaches and the beards. I feel like they just look cooler. Maybe we'll have the Berserkers be women. Because, women can be angry too. Now, camel. No, we are going to go for the... Not the pack camel. Where's the other camel? Wait, why can't I do the war camel now? No, the hustle camel's the last one. What happened? What did I do? Tier restriction. Silly me. Where's the war camel, man? There it is. And it does say charge damage twice. I think that's speed though, because nothing has 60 charge damage at this level. But if we do look at the war camel, we can actually see its stats next to the Hussenfree here, and it's really kind of very similar. The Hussenfree just has more health. which is a bit sad. And the Nahasa Camel is a bit less health and a little bit better, and it's a bit sad it doesn't get better than that. I'm actually kind of disappointed about Hussenfree, but it is what it is. The cap here is 90, so we're going to put it on 80 here, and 55. Wow, 80 there, and 75 here, and a couple of skill points elsewhere for, you know, so in case they do tournaments, they're not terrible. Yes. And obviously now they just need their things upgraded. Now the helmet is still really good though, but we can still look at what Aserai helmets we have. That's around 21 armor, because it can still just be around the same, honestly. Southern Open Spangle Helm, is that what it could be? Or Skull Cap. I kind of like the cloth aesthetics. Yeah, I mean, it kind of screams Aserai. That just makes me happy. So we're going to keep that. The shoulder pads are 7/7. Okay, let's see if Aserai actually have anything here. They have more than I thought, because they don't have nothing. But does it look good or make sense? I'm not really sure. How's this look? It looks kind of fine. It's got that golden scaly look to it. I guess this kind of is an upgrade. And yeah, Toga. Toga is terrible, so obviously we're not going with that. Now, what are we going to do? We can pick anything and it's better, which is the funny thing. I'm not sure we want to go too far ahead with the power level. This is something one of the other troops has. We're not going to go with this. Kafkan? Oh yeah, look, this looks noble. This looks noble as heck, so obviously we're going to do that. And now some gloves that aren't terrible. But we don't want them to be amazing either. Let's see these what? I wish there was, you know, more variety with the gloves and boots, because they all go from being garbage to being amazing, and it's a little bit annoying. Plate van braces? Yeah, they look noble enough. Let's go with that. And Cavalier boots. We just need to find something that male Cavalier boots. You know what? Yeah, 12. It's fine. Good guy. Simple shot spare. Yes. Let's change that before actually we Western Noble Battle Axe. Do we think we can find something that's around those 65 or 110 damage and length? Can we find something that's around that? Because look, this woodland axe is tiny compared to it. I don't know if we can actually find an axe that's similar stats. They're all going to be much shorter, I think. Even if they hit for more, that length is pretty important being on top of a camel. Yeah, I'm... Darshi Long Floral Mace. 85 length is actually not terrible. Heavy Mace. That's exactly the same. Honestly, maybe that's okay. It's kind of got the length of it, and it's a mace. Maybe it's terrible. I'll have to test it out. Now, polearm. Let's have a look at this. Ah, yeah. Okay. What are we going to go for here? Long Thermoskin Terp Spare. I feel like that's pretty good. But honestly, the thing is, we do want them to swing with their weapons. But I suppose they don't have to swing yet, is the thing, because it's only really the later tier ones that swing. So let's clear the level and see if we can get them to get a swingy polearm. The fact is, the swingy polearms are just very powerful, so they're not low level. But let's see if we can't find one here that isn't, you know, doesn't have a balance to it, in that it's immensely overpowered. Or can we just not find them at all at this level of unit? Or am I just blind and I can't find any that swing? No, like this quarterstaff here could swing, so there is swing things in here. Right, so I turned off the restrictions, and it does seem like all of the swing ones are just a little bit too powerful. Even the bill hook, which isn't actually insane. well, I suppose it is pretty damn good, but you know what I mean. They are all a bit too high level for the unit right now. Oh, it's even a halberd. Is the halberd really that bad? You know what, I'm gonna pick it just to see how it actually does. Ah, one-handed. Perhaps it does a lot more damage when it's two-handed. I'll have to test that out, but yeah, we're not giving them the halberd. We are gonna get rid of that, and then we're gonna give them a fine spear for their level 3. And then onward from 3 we can have them have the swingy ones. Mamluk lance. Do you know what? Or long... No, I'm gonna do the long one. They deserve a bit of long. Then the shield. More than 205 should be easy enough. Now if we can have it not be too much more, would be great. Bronze decorated shield, honestly, seems like the right kind. Too much health, but that's fine, I guess. Bronze for the Aserai is fine. And this is the Camelphracts. Now, these guys are going to be upgraded in a similar manner as I've done before, which is, you know, just like that. But I wanted to, before I end this video, I want to show you the camels that we're going to end up with and how they are going to look, because, oh boy, they are exciting looking. Not the camel, not the war camel, not the Hussenfree. Not the camel. Yes, the Nahasa camel. Well, obviously the camel itself looks exactly the same, but the saddles do not. And you can get some really exciting looking camels here. Look at this. 75 armor. This is just as good as any horse armor. Well, not all nearly, but look at that. It's like an entirely fully armored camel ready for battle. Oh, it's glorious, and not all of them need to be steel. No. Some of them can be golden, and you can just, you know, have half-half. Did I skip it again already? Yeah, there we go. Now some of them are golden. Ooh, 50-50s. Maybe it's too much. Maybe they should all be the same, but, you know. That is the sort of camel that our most elite soldiers will be riding. And that's going to be so exciting. But yeah, this is... gone on quite a bit. But these camel riders will be coming in at 200 gold to start with. My goodness. Camel soldiers obviously will be cheap, and they will also be good, and they will help. But who is going to be hiring these troops, and to what end? Well, we don't know yet, but we know it's gonna be one hell of a ride, guys. One hell of a ride. So, until then, I bid you adieu. Enjoy the humps of life, my friends.